Let's go and dive in now to our Saluki Radio preview of the Northern Iowa Panthers. And Coach Watson, history tells us this may be the toughest road game for Southern Illinois. McLeod opened in November of 2006. So there's been 17 matchups in the McLeod Center. Southern has won two of them, 2 and 17. And you even look from an offensive standpoint, Coach Watson, Southern hasn't scored over 60 points in that building since 2008. It's been just a brutal place to go play for Southern for whatever reason. And give credit, a lot of that has to do with Northern Iowa. But what is it about this road trip, even going back to when you were with Coach Painter, and that was in the Unidome when you guys played? This has just been a tough trip to make for Southern Illinois throughout the years.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's a trip that we've always taken a charter flight to, so you can't. There are no excuses. It's just Northern Iowa is just good. They're just a good team, and they're just the class. SIU has. I used to do scheduling, and it's hard, man. It's hard to schedule anywhere, but it's especially hard to schedule good teams like SIU. Everybody can use the excuse, well, we can't get to Carbondale, and those are just excuses. It's just a matter of you don't want to go down there and take the chance, a slim chance of winning, and Northern Iowa was the same way. Cedar Falls isn't easy to get to, but in both the places you can charter fly, and seemingly everybody that's anyone does that now. But it used to be in the Uni Dome, Luke. It was, man, it was sterile, man. It was you kind of hope Northern Iowa was good because there'd be a little bit of energy on the football field, and it was stuck in one side, kind of about the 50-yard line, I think, against some bleacher, some standard seats or whatever. But man, it was like you looked into the far distant when you shot the basketball, the far, far distant. Hey, you got none of those excuses, McLeod. McLeod's tight. It's a good shooting gym. It was a well-constructed arena. It's a perfect size for what Northern Iowa was doing. So no excuses, just good teams. And you go in there, you got to play. You got to be good offensively because their defense is solid. You got to be tough because their teams under Mac or Jake have always had tough guys. They don't have many holes in the program seemingly at UNI.
You look at their numbers this year for Northern Iowa, 11th in three-point percentage in the country. They are 23rd in the country in shooting twos. Those are according to Ken Palm, and 6th in the country in effective field goal percentage. This is not just a good shooting team, Coach Watson. Those are elite numbers. They are in the elite category. What makes Northern Iowa so elite in shooting the basketball this year?
By no means am I trying to take your place, Luke, in the Ken Palm stats, but there are some stats that need to be repeated. Efficiency field goal percentage. Virginia transfer Leon Bond III is in the top 2%, meaning he's in the 2,300 college basketball players, Division I basketball. He's in the top 2% of field goal percentage. Trey Campbell, he is in the top 5% in field goal percentage. Both Hudson and Anderson that we know that played last year, along with Campbell, those guys are all in the top 10 of 2,300 players. Forget about the 364 number of teams. We're talking about all the players. They've got 4 in the top 10 that are scoring at that rate. You've got Campbell, who's top 4% in three-point percentage overall, and top 1%, and you've got Bond, the 6'5" transfer from Virginia, in the top 4%. Man, those numbers don't lie. We can talk about, typically when you think about playing a Dubuque, a Division III school, that's the day you probably experiment a little bit and all that stuff. Well, look, here's how I see Northern Iowa. They're going to take 42s. They're going to take 15 threes. They're going to make almost half of them, but certainly 40% of them. Okay. They're going to get about 9 free throws, 8 offensive rebounds, and 10 turnovers. And that's how they're going to spend their 65, 66 possessions. And you better do something with those 10 turnovers. Okay. And you better hope that you don't foul and you cause one of the misses on the offensive rebounds, because they're going to shoot. And, we talk about how they're in the lower half of the league in free throw percentage. Well, the league's shooting pretty good free throws because they're shooting 71% and they're 10th. So you better block out those 3 they miss and get that one. But you better guard that 3 because they don't shoot many. I think a couple of them shoot 2 a game. About everybody else shoots 1, and they make 40 to 50% of them.
Yes, Bowenborn gone, Heisey gone, but guess who's still there? Titan Anderson. He's been a huge piece for them through the years, has always been a rebounding machine, but now he's their leading scorer.
6'6". He plays like he's 6'10", but goes along with the size across the length. They're going to start 6'4" Trey Campbell, 6'5" Bond, 6'6" Anderson, who's, he's kind of a four-man, kind of a stretch three type guy because he can guard anybody. You've got Hudson at 6'11", and then you've got Schwiger, the transfer also from from Loyola at 6'8". So they're really long across the board. That means they have length and size. They move the ball. They score most of their shots off the catch. So they really manufacture stuff. There's not a lot of dribbling around. It's a team that, in my opinion, plays the game the way that most of us old people like to watch the game, and they're very efficient at it.
That does it for your Saluki radio preview of the Northern Iowa Panthers. As tip-off will be Sunday at 1 o'clock with our pregame coverage starting at noon on the Saluki Radio Network. We hope you join us on Sunday afternoon. For the coach, Rodney Watson, I am Luke Martin. We will talk to you all from the McLeod Center in Cedar Falls on Sunday. Saluki Nation, go Dogs.